LA Knight's push is reportedly on hold until after WWE SummerSlam. WWE are reportedly in talks with a major free agent, and the first match has been confirmed for AEW All Out. Stay tuned for all the deets. So you can't stop LA Knight right now. The crowds are going absolutely wild for him. Everybody wants to see him all of the time. To be honest, you could just turn SmackDown into 2 hours of him sitting at a desk doing his paperwork, and it'd
people
be fun.
would still watch it.
You could fill all the advert gaps with all the adverts he's appeared in. Why haven't we done LA Knight SmackDown yet? We should be doing this.
LA Knight,
but you know, he's somebody where we've heard a lot of rumblings that there is potentially, you know, a lot the company sees in him. That he's somebody that the company feels is going to be able to carry a brand, that there is potentially a push on the horizon, and of course fan sentiment very much looks that way, but according to a report from Better Wrestling Experience, WWE is apparently going to hold off on an LA Knight push until after SummerSlam. This was somewhat corroborated by last night's SmackDown when he came up short in his fatal four-way United States Championship Invitational Qualifier match, what a mouthful, which was ultimately won by Rey Mysterio. It'll be Rey versus Santos Escobar next week to determine Austin Theory's opponent at SummerSlam. Triple H noted at the Money in the Bank press conference, though, if you just kind of go back a little bit, good things come to those who wait, in reference to LA Knight, but we'll probably now have to be waiting till after SummerSlam.
We're not getting it this time, but it's so strange because he felt like the natural opponent for Austin Theory.
Do you think that it means that they're maybe looking a bit higher than US title?
I mean, I would hope so, but knowing WWE, no. I mean, also, it's so strange that this is, you know, if I had a nickel for every time someone who said yes got over, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird. It's weird that it happened twice. But like, he's over. People want to see him get that big push.
What if, because I've been watching a lot of like throwback Attitude Era promo segments, like in-ring stuff. What if we have Finn take the World Heavyweight and then you throw LA Knight in there to just kind of go after Finn? Because I think he'd have a lot of fun tearing apart the Judgment Day verbally. I think there's a lot of leg room there for him to have a bit of fun with that. But I also kind of think that he is somebody where the crowd are so far behind him that I don't think anybody viewing would have an issue with him even, you know, going up against Roman. So I think that he's somebody you could maybe divert a lower card title and maybe get him straight to the top.
My worry is that going into SummerSlam, he's the most over guy on the roster.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say. The reactions for him have been eclipsing everyone else. But he's not been put in the matches that he needs to be, and he needs to be positioned slightly higher up the card. And I agree with you, he should be getting those title feuds. I just don't feel like they're jumping on it while they can. If we talked about merch in the first video, but LA Knight has the #1 selling t-shirt on WWEshop.com. He's also got the 3rd and 4th best selling t-shirt. People want to see him. And if he's not on SummerSlam, I feel like it's going to be a repeat of WrestleMania where folk are going, that was wasted potential. But yeah.
Keeping it with SmackDown and Fraser! Guess who was backstage?
Based on that, there's only one man it could be.
That's right. It's Eric Rowan.
It's Big E.
Yeah, Big E.
Big E's
backstage at SmackDown last night, according to PW Insider. Unfortunately, didn't appear on the program, but he was backstage, and that's, you know,
a positive sign.
It's a positive sign. You know, he could have just been visiting. We don't know. We don't know the crack. But you know, with the severity of Big E's injury, the potential that he maybe couldn't have wrestled again, there's a lot of there's kind of a lot going on there, and it's one of those things where, you know, the audience, you know, wants to see Big E back, fighting fit, completely at 100%, better than ever before, and I want it so bad.
I want it really bad.
So bad.
He's been out of action for just over a year now. March 2022. Obviously, that the belly to belly from Ridge Holland, which is just a very unfortunate injury. But hopefully, him being backstage, maybe it's to discuss a return. I don't know. It doesn't say. PW Insider's report didn't go into detail about it. Just said that he was spotted backstage at SmackDown, and it's nice to see him back, just hanging about.
Yeah, it could be that he just lives in the area. You know?
It was in Orlando.
So it's one of those things where maybe don't read too much into it. Take any sort of rumors around why he was there with a grain of salt, unless it comes directly from the horse's mouth. But at the same time, time, simultaneously lose your mind because it means Big E might actually be coming back very soon. And could you imagine if it's SummerSlam?
He's going to slap some meat.
Could you imagine if he just pops up at SummerSlam?
Slapper slam. Slap and meat slam. That's what it's going to be.
Well, because we're in Orlando, as Fraser said, of course, the home of NXT, that means that there was eventually going to be some NXT bleed over onto SmackDown's programming last night, of course, and happily, it did happen. Numerous NXT stars made appearances on the show. Tiffany Stratton took on Kiana James in a dark match that didn't appear on TV. Wesley and Dragon Lee were shown in the crowd, the Lees together.
Yeah, the Lees together.
Introduced by the announcers. The Cavender twins were also shown in the crowd. Tony D'Angelo and Stax, along with the Creed brothers, were shown backstage as Jey Uso walked by. NXT champion Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams were also spotted in the crowd among NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. On a WWE digital exclusive as well, Dragon Lee met backstage with Rey Mysterio and Rey. It's largely in Spanish, but what you can kind of make out from the little bits of English peppered through. Rey wants to be there. You know, he says when Dragon Lee takes on Dominic, he wants to kind of be there, maybe in Dragon Lee's corner. That Dominic's disrespectful, and that, you know, Rey. I think Dragon Lee said to him, or something along the lines of, or it must have been something along the lines of, you know, it's an honor to meet you or something. And Rey says back essentially like, it's an honor for me, you know, to see the next generation coming through. And I think Dragon Lee is someone who I cannot wait until those chains are off and we just see him going absolutely wild. And him and Dominic, just such a nice clash of styles.
Right. He's got a lot of potential, especially when he gets to the main roster. And even just on the front for merchandise, you know, you've got masks. People, you know, WWE
kids love a mask.
Selling masks. Kids love buying masks, or parents love buying masks for their kids.
I don't know how much the parents love buying them when they're like 75 quid, but the kids love the masks.
It's for the smiles, Sam. It's worth it. It's priceless. But yeah, it's exciting to see so many NXT talents on SmackDown making a little appearance. It felt a bit abrupt. It was sort of just like, here's everyone. Here's everyone.
The thing is, I like that. I like when wrestling, you know, especially between shows, feels like it's a bit of an ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
I like when you just see, that's from NXT backstage, and just sort of in the background of shots, because it feels like it's a much more communal thing.
Cohesive,
it feels like it's cohesive. It kind of just flows together, and it kind of adds to the feeling, I guess, if you're a fairly new viewer, that any of these people could pop up at any time.
That's true, and we know that Nick Khan wants to kind of make NXT that third brand again, so make it more important. So I guess having them on SmackDown and going, look at all these talents, they're hanging with them or they're appearing with them, it makes them seem a bit more important as well. Obviously, Dominic Mysterio defending the NXT North American title on SmackDown as well. So the NXT got it was basically SmackDown NXT special.
Yeah, like a yellow SmackDown special.
Exactly. Yeah, it was good.
Well, keeping it with WWE and possibly within NXT, depending on the realms of you know, reality with it. WWE are interested in a major free agent.
They are indeed. In an update from the Wrestling Observer, Nick Aldis is reportedly back in talks with WWE, and he will indeed be getting a trial as a producer as early as next month. We know Nick Aldis has had just recently left Impact. He's one of the sort of... He's up there as one of the people that is most surprising hasn't been signed to WWE ever.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that fits kind of perfectly with the WWE style. He's got kind of an old throwback style. I imagine Triple H would absolutely love him.
Triple H loves the 10 pounds of gold, doesn't he?
You know, the 10 pounds of gold.
He's got the original one sitting on the wall of his office, doesn't he?
Right. So it's like... He's a perfect fit. What's really strange is that all the reports that we've heard, including this one, is that they want to bring him in as a producer.
Yeah.
He is only 36. Nick Aldis is younger than a lot of the people that WWE has and is pushing in a prime position. Nick Aldis still has at least, if they sign him now, 10 years of potentially,
I think especially now with, you know, the age of wrestlers becoming less and less of a factor, I feel, you know, as the styles becoming slightly safer and people are able to work for longer, and medical marvels keep happening.
Right.
That extend
Rey Mysterio,
he's not got knee braces anymore. I don't know what's going on.
He does something with long baggy trousers.
The thing with Aldis is it is surprising, as you said. He's somebody where I thought when he went to NWA and he carried the 10 pounds of gold, he added prestige back to that title in the process, reinvigorating his own career, who a lot of people had been kind of sitting and saying, you know, they'd gotten quite stale. He went out there, he carried NWA, you know, right back to where it is now, essentially.
Tyrus.
Which maybe not right back to where it is now, but right back to the bit before it got to where it is now. But it's sort of, for me, Aldis has always been somebody that can just blend into a company. He's got one of those styles where he's able to, I think he's just a very versatile performer, if I'm being honest. I think he's able to, you give him some ground rules and he just adapts to it. You could just sort of impose anything there and he'll find a way through it. And it is surprising they bring him in as a producer, but at the same time, maybe not so much because for somebody who's been wrestling for quite a long time, he understands ring psychology. He understands how to put matches together. He's maybe somebody that they would allow to keep working externally while he was a producer in between dates. Because I think we've seen that from time to time. Adam Pearce, I think, did it a couple of times. And so it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of those deals where it's like, hey, you're going to work less indie dates overall, but you can still do them. Just if they don't clash. It could be one of those, but at the same time, it just feels a bit like a wasted opportunity.
A little bit wasted potential. But we know Aldis doesn't currently have a contract anywhere, but he himself is reportedly interested in both AEW and WWE. So we might see a little bit of a bidding war between them, but he's got that trial shift as a producer. He's getting his wee probation. That's exciting for him.
Well, moving over to Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, which occurred last night. Don't you know, everybody? Get yourselves on Fight. Get it bloody watch. Aussie Open are the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions following their win against the Kingdom last night at Death Before Dishonor. The Best Friends as well, former champions, and the Lucha Brothers.
So it was a big fatal four-way match. We had all those teams in there. Lucha Brothers, I'm surprised, kind of dropped the titles. I thought...
they're kind of, for me, they're like just the unstoppable force. They're like my modern day Road Warriors.
Right.
I just you put anybody in there against them, they're not going to hope in hell.
It's going to be great fun. But I think maybe that's to get them more integrated back into AEW TV. They've kind of had those Ring of Honor title belts since, I think it was... God, it must have been the WrestleMania weekend. So it's nice to see them switching it up. Aussie Open, what a team to lead Ring of Honor as the tag team. I can't wait till we get the eventual FTR.
I don't think you're going to be able to keep Aussie Open in Ring of Honor for very long.
No, I think we'll see them back on AEW TV. But
I think there'll be a bidding war eventually. There's anything that
one of the best teams right now.
Absolutely. But keeping it on the AEW side of the fence, I guess, considering Ring of Honor's now there. Darby Allin won the Royal Rampage on last night's AEW Rampage, which earned him the right to challenge for the TNT Championship at September's AEW All Out, which takes place just a week after Wembley.
7 full days after Wembley, which is being hyped up as the big show, and then they've also got All Out to happen. So it's currently set to face Luchasaurus, but again, you've got 2 big shows within a week of each other. Something tells me things are going to get a bit skew-iff, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we're being told certain things, but it's not the full picture. I think that's going to be the case.
Because the thing is as well, if we're looking at the card after All In, people are going to be going, okay, well, that can't happen on this show, and this can't happen. So misinformation is, I think, going to be a factor leading into this 1 week doubleheader.
I'm excited to see Darby Allin get another chance at the TNT title, but he's kind of his whole AEW career has kind of felt like it's just been going back in and out of that picture. But with having Christian Cage there, I cannot wait for the promos he cuts on Darby Allin, because he is brutal on the mic.
He's just a little bit.
Never wanted to be your father. It's just so good. He's incredible. He's the real TNT champion.
But that is it for your second slice of lovely bumper weekend wrestling news. Myself and Fred will be back in a bit if anything else breaks. But if not, keep it here with us all weekend on the channel. The podcast went up last night. Make sure you check that out. We got everything else we would usually have. We got a week's worth of content for you to catch up on if you've not seen anything this week so far. So in the meantime, we might be back in a bit. If not, stay safe. Have a good, wet, horrible, miserable weekend. Bye.